Hello everyone, my name is Tim, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the dividend paying stock for Kohl's, which is ticker symbol KSS. I'm going to be going over the company information, dividend information, their financials, including income statements, and that's my cat Harmony. So if you want, you can say hi to her in the comment section down below. And I will also be going over how in the last 2 weeks I have made about $600 selling options on Kohl's. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button down below. It does greatly help, as well as if you want to leave a comment, anything that you want to request I make a video on in the future, I'll be happy to take that into account and start doing some research to see if it's a stock I would like to do a review on. Hope you all have a great day and good luck in the stock market. So right now I am recording this after trading hours have ended, so the stock Kohl's ended the day at $28.70. They were up 2.03% today, or 57 cents. As you can see, year to date, they were up 16.9%. Over the last 6 months, they're down 1.75%. Over the last month, they're up 14.96%. Over the last 5 days, they're up 4.33%. Their EPS, or earnings per share, is 2.39. Their price to earnings ratio is 11.45, and they have a short interest of 16.97% and a market cap of $3 billion, with the average daily volume of 1.8 million shares traded. So what this basically means is over the last 6 months, the stock has been going up. As for the other statistics I went over, the EPS, or earnings per share, is a way of judging a stock's performance, and in this case, you get that number by taking the earnings and then dividing it by the outstanding shares. That's the shares that are owned by investors as well as hedge funds and corporate. So that's where you get the EPS from. And then the price to earnings ratio is the current stock of the price divided by the earnings per share. So it's around 11.4, around there. It's not updated daily. One important part of doing your research on a company is to know as much about it as possible. Like the Kohl's company profile operates as an omni-channel retailer in the United States. That means that you're a retailer that sells their products through multiple different ways, usually through a retail store like the one that we're all familiar with, as well as their website, and through other forms of different brand names. So some of the brand names that they operate under is Croft Barrow, Jumping Beans, SO, Sonoma Goods for Life, as well as the Food Network, LC Lauren Conrad, 9 West, and Simply Vera Vera Wang. Kohl's Corporation was founded back in 1988 and is headquartered in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, with around 97,000 employees. So Kohl's has a 7.11% dividend yield with an annual payout per share of $2. And they pay their dividend quarterly, so that's every 3 months. So every quarter, for each share that you own, you will receive 50 cents from Kohl's, at least at this point. They may end up raising or lowering their dividend in the future. It all depends on how their company performs. They do have a fairly high payout ratio right now, which is one concerning aspect of the company, but you have to take everything into account. So that's my personal point of view. You can view it however you choose to. They do have a negative almost 3% 5-year growth rate, and they've only grown their dividend over the last year. They do have a ex-dividend date coming up on September 5th. So that means if you want to receive the dividend that's coming up, you need to own the shares that you want to buy by September 4th at the latest. If you wait till September 5th, it's already going to be too late. That's when they've already marked in their books how many shares everyone holds and who they need to pay the dividend out to. The dividend was declared on August 8th of 2023. So the next dividend after this one will be around December of this year. So I like using TradingView to look at information like earnings and financials. I just find it easier and more engaging to read than just a graph or a bunch of numbers on the company's webpage that sometimes are hard to understand. So I like this graph just because it's simpler for me to understand. So as you can see, out of the last 4 quarters, not counting the one that we're in right now, quarter 2 of 2023, which They haven't done any of their, except for the current quarter of 2023, in which they haven't announced their earnings yet. That is expected to come out on August 23rd. They have made or surpassed their estimated earnings 2 out of the 4 times. One time they barely missed, and then another time they missed badly. And I'll go over those numbers real fast now. So for quarter 2 of 2022, they made an estimate of 1.12 and an actual earnings of 1.11. Then quarter 3 of 2022, they had an estimate of 0.77 and an actual of 0.82. So they beat the earnings estimate that quarter. Quarter 4 2022 turned out pretty badly for them. They had an estimate of 0.97 and an actual negative 2.49 for their earnings, so they missed that. In quarter 1 of this year, they had an estimate of negative 0.43 and an actual earnings of 0.13. So they beat their earnings estimate in quarter 1 of this year. We will find out on August 23rd what the earnings for quarter 2 of 2023 are. I always also review income statements for the companies when I'm doing my research. For this one, I'm going over the annual first and then quarterly. For 2018, they had a revenue of $20.23 billion, a net income of $801 million, and a profit margin of almost 4%. In 2019, they had a revenue of almost $20 billion, a net income of $691 million, and a profit margin of 3.46%. 2020, they did have a negative income and profit margin, but considering everything that happened that year, I am not going to really hold that against them. They had a revenue of almost $16 billion, a negative $163 million net income, and a negative 1% profit margin. So they took a loss that year. 2021, they had a revenue of $19.5 billion, net income of $938 million with a profit margin of 4.83%, so almost a 5% profit margin. 2022, they had a revenue of $18.10 billion, a net income of negative $19 million, and a profit margin of negative 0.1%. So 2022 wasn't that great for them either, but not as bad as 2020. As far as quarters go, quarter 1, 2022, they had a revenue of $3.71 billion, a net income of $14 million, and a profit margin of 0.38%. Quarter 2, they had a revenue of $4 billion, a net income of $143 million, with a profit margin of 3.5%. Quarter 3, they had $4.28 billion in revenue, $97 million in net income, and 2.27% profit margin. And quarter 4, and had a revenue of $6.02 billion, a net income of negative $273 million. So they took a loss, and another loss in a profit margin of 4.5%. In quarter 1, they did have a revenue of $3.57 billion, a net income of $14 million, with a profit margin of 0.39%. So there hasn't been very much notable news for Kohl's lately. Right now, the biggest speculation is how they're going to be doing on their earnings on August 23rd. Some other stories came out about specifically high options contracts that have been sold for Kohl's over the last week for an expiration of August 25th. So that should be entertaining if you're into options like I am, which I'll be going over in the next part. Right now I'm showing you a portion of my trading log. This is just the financial part. Right now I'm looking at the archives section. I will go over my active portion in a few minutes, but I just wanted to show you with options trading, I have been able to make a decent profit over the last couple months. I started this particular trade in March and ended up selling all my shares at the end of July. As you can see, I made a realized profit of $835. I collected $300 in dividends, so I actually owned the shares for 2 quarters. And out of that money, I made $851 in premium, and I did have to pay around $15 or so in fees and commissions. And if you're looking at the math and wondering how that turned out that way, it's very simple. The cost basis when I bought the shares or when I sold puts and had them assigned to me was $26.50, and I sold the shares for $25. So I ended up taking a loss as far as my cost basis, but it was above my break even. So it did eat into my profit and loss some, but I felt it was good enough, and I had already earned enough premium at this point to just want to be able to start over. So that's why I was willing to sell the shares at the price where I sold the call at. And now I've already started a new chain. So now on the active one, I started this one on July 31st, and I've already made $245 in realized profits and loss. And over this last week, actually, I made, last Monday, I earned $234 in premium, and then I bought them back on Friday for $48. That's for $16 per contract, and sold 3 more puts that are expiring this Friday for $156 per contract. If you take out the $16, so basically I bought back the puts that were expiring Friday for $16, and I sold 3 more puts for the same strike price for expiring this upcoming Friday. So I made $140 profit per contract, and I sold 3 contracts. So this week I made $420 in profit. That's not showing up here yet because it hasn't been either expired, assigned, or rolled yet. So that will go into the realized profit and loss section once Friday comes and a decision's been made. Either I get assigned the shares, I decide to roll if I can get good premium again, or if it expires out of the money worthless and I get to keep all that premium, then the realized profit will go up by $420. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button down below. It does greatly help out. If you have any comments or suggestions, if you want to start talking about the stock with me in the comment section, I'd be more than happy to give you my point of view, why I trade it, everything like that. Hope you all have a great week in the stock market, and hope you have a great day.